there, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is Tech Tuesday here on INE Live, and you are in the INE Boardroom. We're so glad you're here today for this special episode. In the INE Boardroom, we're bringing together content leaders from different learning paths to offer insight into some recently released content and give you the dish on some new releases that you'll be seeing in the near future. As always, we are answering your questions as well, so Tito's up, get them ready. First, as we do each time we stream here on INE Live, I want to let you know that we are, of course, streaming live right now across social media platforms, including Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Be sure to like and subscribe on the social media platform you're using so you can stay in the loop when we go live and get your questions ready. We want you to get involved, talk to us, talk to others. We already see people talking there in chat, and we're excited to answer some of your questions. Bob, smell some INE training happening here, and we are going to get after it today. So thanks for your comments. Feel free to please stay engaged and ask us those questions. We have a team monitoring chat. If you have a comment, drop it in. If you have a question, do us a favor, put a Q at the beginning so that we can find those questions easily and get to them as quickly as we can. First, though, before we get started with our official show, we have a very exciting announcement to make today. Some of you may have seen it already on social media, but we want to officially announce that we are launching INE Fundamentals today, which is a new subscription structure designed to give you more access, more content, and more control over your INE or your IT journey, as well as your INE journey, quite frankly. Our new monthly pass, which a lot of people have been asking for, we now have that. New monthly pass is $39. It includes access to all labs and content for Cisco Certified Network Associate, INE Certified Cloud Associate Paths, as well as Pentester V2, Cloud Fundamentals, and Azure Fundamentals. And the big piece of that is, of course, that we are including labs now. We believe that everyone should have access to these labs. And in looking at pricing structures and what we were able to offer previously, we didn't think that it offered enough of the lab access. And so we've been looking at that over the past few months and trying to figure out a way where we can really give students the very best and access to really what you need to complete your IT journey. So that's exciting. New monthly pass includes access to labs, $39 per month. Fundamentals annual is $299 per year. It includes all fundamentals labs and content, plus a certification voucher for EJPT or ICCA. Premium access, if you have that, it's not changing a bit. It includes access to 2,500 labs, endless instruction content, videos, workbooks, quizzes. That's still $749 a year, except it now includes a 7-day free trial. So that's the only thing that's changing about premium. If you have that, everything stays the same, except new people who sign on, you get a free 7-day trial. A new premium plus option also includes access to all premium features, as well as access to attack defense labs. We're bundling those together because we know a lot of you have been asking for it. That is now $899 per year, and really just enables clients who are interested in getting both of those to avoid having to buy them separately. We're bundling those together, saving you a little bit of money. Again, that's $899 per year. So giving you more options. We hope you're excited about it. We've been seeing some really positive feedback coming in on social media today since we've made the announcement. So we're excited about that. Hope you are too. One other thing that we're launching today, a free 7-day trial. I mentioned that just a moment ago. This is all new for INE. And really, it was born from the fact that we are so confident in our platform and how it can help you crush your training goals that we know once you experience the platform for yourself, you will be impressed. So for those who are on the fence, we're saying, hey, just go in, look at it yourself, try it out, try to break it, do what you can in there. And we are so convinced and such believers in our product that we want people to get in there. We're convinced we're not going to have to sell you on it. You will figure it out for yourself. So get in there if you're not already a client and try our new 7-day free trial. With that, I want to get to what we're all really here for. Our guest today, Director of Cybersecurity Content, Jack Reedy, Director of Networking Content and co-founder of INE, Brian McGann, and Cloud Instructor, Brooks Seahorn. Guys, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Catherine.
A lot of excitement right off the bat, right? I know that you guys have all been hearing internally the excitement around INE fundamentals, and coincides with this episode here. So excited to have you on for a great day.
Thanks.
All right, Brian, I want to start with you. We're just kind of go around the horn here. That's our format on the INE Boardroom, just to give people who are watching a little insight into what we've done, what we're going to be doing in the very near future. So, Brian, if you could just give us kind of a status update on networking. What's been happening? What can we expect to see down the pipe?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we've been working on so far up to this point this year that we're in the middle of launching and that we're going to be launching soon. One of the biggest efforts that we've worked on so far this year is adding more vendor independent, or not, excuse me, not vendor independent, but I should say an alternative to the most popular networking vendor out there, which is Cisco. We've started to add more other vendors besides just Cisco to our training program. And the one that I'm most excited to announce is that we have 4 learning paths coming out for Juniper certifications, which are the Juniper's network certified Internetwork Associate, the JNCIA, JNCIA for security, which focuses on the Juniper SRX firewalls, and then we also have the Juniper Network Certified Internet Professional and Specialist, the JNCIP, and the JNCIS, which we already have a number of courses that are already posted for these particular topics, but we're going to be bundling them together in more clear learning paths, so you know what particular courses correspond to which individual certifications. The other big thing that goes along with this is our web-based lab platform, that it does support Juniper's JunoS. So all of the courses from the JNCIA up to the JNCIS, they all include hands-on labs that you'll be able to do through our platform. So for those of you who are familiar to our kind of legacy rack rental type delivery, this is a new and exciting way that we're delivering the labs now and into the future, is that we can support more than just Cisco equipment. We have now Juniper. On the back burners, we're working on other vendors like Arista and Fortinet and others that are supported on our lab platform. So we have a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline that are hands-on training that include the labs, and that's one of the biggest things that we are working on that I'm excited for everybody to see. Beyond that, me personally, I have a Cisco Meraki bootcamp that I'm teaching this week that starts tomorrow. So if you're interested in learning how the small medium business solution for Cisco Meraki works, and how management of the routers and the switches and the wireless access points works from the cloud management point of view, what they call the Meraki dashboard, I'm going to be going through demos of the specific implementation of Meraki. So how do you onboard a device, or how do you take it out of the box, get it registered to the network, and get traffic flowing through it. And then we'll talk about other features and functionalities of what Meraki can do. How do they do SD-WAN type VPNs, or client VPNs, or auto VPNs that they call that. So for those of you that are already at the level of like a CCNA or so in terms of networking knowledge of layer 2 switching and layer 3 IP routing, this would definitely be a great course for you to see just a different perspective on how you can implement these technologies, but from kind of a plug and play type of view that Cisco Meraki is really targeting. So that's what I'm most excited about here, Catherine, and back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, you mentioned the Meraki Bootcamp, and I've seen a ton of excitement for that. So I know a lot of people are really looking forward to that. And the browser-based labs, I'm so glad you mentioned that as well. We were, I along with other members from the INE team, were out in Singapore for Black Hat Asia a couple weeks ago. And we were talking about our labs and giving demonstrations to a lot of the people there. And that is one of the things that we just heard over and over and over again from people. So excited that we moved to this browser-based lab. So, from students who are studying on their own independently to businesses who have entire teams, they were really, really excited about the browser-based lab function, just calling it a game changer. So I'm really excited, Brian, to hear you talking about, how exciting that is as well.
Yeah, and Catherine, one thing that you were mentioning before is the new fundamentals pass.
Mhm.
And one of the things that is key about that is that it does include lab access to the platform. And the same is true with the new 7-day free trial. So, for those of you that haven't seen the web based labs, I would definitely recommend to take a look at it. We have tons of labs in networking, we have tons of labs in cybersecurity, we have labs in cloud. So, for whatever vertical that you're working on, you don't have to worry about renting or building your own equipment, building your own home lab, or renting equipment from a third party vendor. We now have all of that hands on lab training integrated directly into our platform, where you'll see the videos, you'll see a quiz, and then you'll see the lab that goes along with that particular video. So we're really excited for people to see what our advancements are lately with this new web based lab platform.
Yeah, makes a huge difference, like you said, kind of plug and play and go. Brian, thank you. Want to move to over to Jack next. Jack, director of cybersecurity content, and a lot going on in cyber. Jack.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously with the fundamentals coming out, attached to that too, we have PTS, so penetration testing student, which has been a favorite, I can say, for a while for a lot of our audience. And we have been working to expand it through the work of Alexia Ahmed as well as Josh Mason. And these two instructors have brought together, I believe it's over 140 hours of hands on content and videos together to recreate and improve on what we previously had. With that is also all the lab environments, the engagement, and the hands on capability to click on the lesson, review the video, and then be able to engage with it in the actual browser-based labs. And it's kind of like what you were talking about, Catherine, with the accessibility feature. I mean, it's we really want to make sure that we have the availability necessary for the widest amount of audience, that people can get in, get on, and be able to learn the lessons that are necessary. With that as well, so part of the fundamentals pass is PTS, as we said, which builds towards our EJPT certification, which is a new version is also coming out soon. We also have something called Enterprise Defense Analyst. Now, this is similar to the PTS, penetration testing student, but it's focused on the blue team level of labs in that environment per se. It's more at the security engineering level. So for a prospective employer, this is everything that you would want an individual to know or learn to come on as a junior level engineer, or possibly start handling or helping with GRC stuff or firewall configurations, possibly monitoring or engaging in networks or switches. And this idea is that, it's not just penetration testing that's out there. While it's, we love it, it's fancy, it's awesome, and it gets your hands on and gets you really in the mindset of the attacker, which is really makes good for a defender. There's also stuff about, configuring and understanding where configurations come from, vulnerability management, asset identification, hands-on skill sets that are necessary for just getting into the workplace. So we have that coming out in a couple months as well through Brian Oliff, one of our security engineering instructor. And, might as well talk about all of it. Going on further, I kind of mentioned this last time with, Jason Alvarado, our digital forensics instructor. I mentioned it, I believe it was last week on his demo. He is working currently on digital forensic analyst. And I got a lot of questions after that about where does this fit in? What's happening to CDFP, our current certification for digital forensics? The CDFP is not currently changing, guys. We are creating digital forensics for analysts for another entry level type course. And what I mean by that is a deep dive into digital forensics is a very heavy dive. It goes very, very deep, and it can get, extremely complex. We're creating a course that isn't so completely into the weeds, that is really good for individuals that might be working in a security role, and on occasion they need to do collections for law enforcement officials, or they might be engaged with instant response and really need to understand what it is to do memory forensics or do disk recovery or bit by bit, but they don't necessarily need to go to the full on case of, creating a full on bit by bit recollection of a drive or a database or something like that for a court of law appearance, right? So Jason's working on a course that is great for if you're into incident response, if you are working as an engineer at a company and you need to know a bit more about working with law enforcement, things like that. Excellent course for digital forensics analysts. But yeah, a lot of stuff coming out from the instructors in the group. So
Yeah, it is a really busy time, Jack. I know that kind of is high level what we're working on, and just I can't stress enough just how busy things are here and how we are working to get things out the door. I want to get to a couple questions really quick. I've just been going through some of the questions. So Gary Allen had a great question. Asked, what is the attack defense referenced in Premium Plus? And that goes back to when I was explaining the fundamentals. So just to kind of give you a breakdown, I was saying in our new Premium Plus option, which is an annual subscription, $8.99 a year, it includes all premium features as well as access to attack defense labs. Attack defense labs are part of Pen Tester Academy, which INE acquired several months ago, and they're a very specialized subset of cybersecurity labs. And so that Premium Plus option will give you access to that particular subset of very specialized cybersecurity labs known as attack defense. So just wanted to clarify that. Happy to answer any more questions if you have them, but wanted to answer that question. One other quick question, Jason Spring, did you guys build the lab in-house or is it based on EVENG or something? These are in-house built labs, and we run them straight out of here. So just answering those two quick questions. Jack, were there any other questions that you saw that are coming in that you want to take a stab at?
I think Michael said something about, penetration testing student V2 is available too. Yep. 100% the new penetration testing is on the fundamentals pass, guys. So hands-on labs access and, the video content is up and ready to go.
Awesome. All right, Jack, thank you. I want to bring in Brooks now, already up there on the screen. Thanks for hanging out a bit, Brooks. Brooks Seahorn, cloud instructor here, and we have had some really exciting things happening in cloud. This has been, like I keep saying it this year, but I feel like, cloud is like having a moment right now, and we are fully harnessing the power of that.
Absolutely. It's, it is now the de facto location where people are putting workloads. It's like the first place you think to put it. But one of the things that's been missing in this particular training area has sort of been that trusted third party. When you're often getting training from the cloud vendor, they're telling you what's great about their platform. In some cases, what they want you to use on their platform. And we're stepping into this space, this unusual space INE is, where we're saying, listen, let's talk the practicals of these sorts of things. And I think that's, to me, since I've been here at INE for just a little over a year, is what makes our training just so powerful. So like we talk about the ICCA being part of the fundamentals, you get access to the AWS material and the Azure material. Most people stepping into these cloud roles now are realizing you've got to know more than one cloud. You just can't stick with AWS or Azure being the two big cloud providers. You really need to do both. So having the ICCA, the INE Certified Cloud Associate, as a multi-cloud can really differentiate our clients when it comes out to like getting jobs or just putting yourself into a better position understanding cloud. And for me personally, having worked with, I thought of it the other day, Catherine, I kind of had to go, wow, it's that many, like 10,000 plus students. It fits a place that just hasn't been filled. So it's really exciting. We've got it out there. I'm super excited about the fact that it's in the fundamentals. And I think another thing I'm really excited about as far as going forward has been the labs themselves. Getting cloud-based our platform out there, the Azure labs that are out there that Mike's been working so hard on to really deliver a great experience for our clients. But also some really strange labs, like stuff you don't normally see. Like that, I think three of my favorite I've seen so far has been this thing called Dynamodb Enumeration, where you try to sort of hack into a Dynamodb database, a poorly designed S3 website. And don't worry for all you cyber folks out there, this stuff means things, but also stealing data from an instance. This is labs you just don't normally see on anyone else's platforms. And if you're in cloud, getting to do these sorts of labs, seeing hands-on how would attackers come into my space and take my data or exfil data or lock up my data and then demand a ransom. Seeing these things and actually being able to do them is going to put you just miles ahead of the competition and hopefully put you miles ahead in front of the attackers. So we have a lot of stuff like that going on. And yes, we have been super busy. We're creating some brand new courses right now. We're just finished up infrastructure as code for AWS. Where the thing about that one that I really like, Catherine, is that we didn't just talk about the one service that AWS. We go out, we look at what the sites where people are posting jobs, what are they asking for in terms of cloud engineers, associates, and that's what we're basing the material on. So that's why we bring in things like Terraform. We bring in things, other utilities that students just need to know for that first day on the job. And like something we've even done, and I had to make kind of a big deal about it, and I hope she's watching. Hey, Melissa. Dr. Harris did something very unusual with a course she's working on and actually reached out to Keith Bogart, one of the in-house CCIEs, to talk about networking. And not to make too big a deal of it, although I could probably talk about this for days, one of the things that has been seriously lacking in cloud education is proper network training. There's was so many times I could be at some of the biggest companies in the world, and I'm talking like, Fortune 50, Fortune 10 type companies. I start talking about networking and I lose half the people that I'm speaking to. So we're addressing those things with we've got some of the best people in the world for training, and we're bringing them in and giving to our students who are our clients that are interested in cloud a level of training they're just not going to get anyplace else.
Awesome. I love it. A lot of things happening, no matter which vertical you pick here. A lot of stuff going on. I was just looking at some of the questions. Thank you, Brooks. Looking at some of the questions, and Jason Spring asked, I haven't seen any labs for the CCIE Enterprise. Have you guys developed any labs for this track yet? And for that, I wanted to kick it over to you, Brian, for an answer and maybe some help on how people can find these labs.
Yeah, Catherine, we do have a number of labs that are available for CCI Enterprise. And let me go ahead and share my screen out and show you guys on the platform where specifically this is. Can you guys see my web browser now?
No.
No. Let's try this one more time. Is it a negative?
That is a negative. You know what?
Ryan, do you want to post it up and I'll walk you through it real quick at my.ine.com?
All right. While we wait on Ryan to do that, I am going to send it over to Jack and Brooks for another question, and we'll have Brian, you, and Ryan, who's heading up our production, take a crack at that. But in the meantime, Gary Allen asked, any cloud pen testing courses coming? Bob, weighed in. I see the cloud's coming. Does that include cloud security? So a lot of questions surrounding that. Brooks and Jack, we can take that away.
Run with it, Jack.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so we do actually have some cloud pen testing available through our boot camps that are offered via PTA as well. So you can sign up for those monthly courses. Those are because of those are something that we have available. Courseware, as far as the platform goes, that is on the roadmap. That's coming. We have both. We already have incident handling in the clouds, which is from the blue team side, and we are going to be working towards the red team side. Next primary focus, though, is going to be WPT. It's going to be probably the next big pen testing section on our roadmap. We're already starting to do some of the planning towards it. Want to update it and make sure that it is good to go.
Awesome. And then from our side, we're doing something that's really unique in as much as that normally when you take cloud-based training, security is sort of just modularized. It's a piece all by itself. It's covered, then it's forgotten about. What we're going to be doing, as with every service we talk about, is everything we move into, we're going to left shift security so that we can deal with people like Jack breaking into our stuff so that you get the fundamentals of what's going on. And I cannot recommend this enough. And going both ways. If you're a cloud person on the INE platform, you get access to somebody like Jack, his material, his team's materials, to really understand how the security in terms of how you can get attacked is going to happen so you can mitigate. Then from over on our side, understanding the mechanics of it. That's stuff that Melissa and I are working on. Understand the mechanics of Azure security. That's what our director, Mike Pfeiffer, is working on right now. You'll get both sides of the equation.
Awesome. All right. Hope that answers your question, Gary, and Bob as well. Things are in the cooker for that, so stay tuned for that. We're going to kick it back over to Brian. Brian, were you and Ryan able to work that out with your screen share?
I think so. Ryan, can you cut to my screen? Can you guys see this?
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so this is the homepage for my.ine.com. The question was about labs for CCI Enterprise. So if you go to Learning Areas, and then under Networking, the first set of courses here is the different learning paths, which is kind of an aggregation of multiple playlists for a certification or for a particular technology like CCNP data center certification, for example. The one that we were referring to here, the question was about, is CCI Enterprise Infrastructure. So if you go to CCI Enterprise Infrastructure, you'll see that it's further broken down on a per topic basis. So for example, Layer 2 Switch Campus, Layer 3 Routing Concepts, Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol, etc. So all of these subsections do have labs that are associated with the individual videos. So the general flow for this is that there's going to be a video that explains the technology or that goes through a specific example. Like in this first video, we have EdgeRP in what's called classic mode. Then you have a brief quiz about that. So just some recall testing to see if you remember the information that was presented. And then after this, you'll see that there is a lab that's associated with that particular video. So as you scroll through these playlists, you'll see that pretty much every third link here is an individual lab, like EdgeRP Classic Metric Calculation. What we don't have right now is a single page that aggregates every single lab together. So you do have to go to the individual course and then to see what particular labs are on that topic. But there's another solution that we're going to be coming out in the near future that's going to make it a little bit clearer what labs are currently available. Another thing that you can do is to use the search engine. So for example, I search for BGP, which is the Border Gateway Protocol, and then you can say filter courses by ones that have labs. So if we filter just by labs, we can see some of the new Juniper courses that I was referring to. So there's 3 courses here. There's Foundations of Juniper Routing, Deploying BGP on Juniper Routers, and then Advanced BGP on Juniper Routers. But then you can see there's other courses that are under the Cisco vertical that also have labs. So there's a course here on BGP Deep Dive. There's one that's on multi-protocol label switching. And like I said, if you click into the playlist and then scroll through it, you should see that it's made up of videos, quizzes, and then in the case of this particular playlist for the deep dive, I believe the lab is at the end, troubleshooting BGP. So short answer is yes, we have lots of labs that are currently available for CCI Enterprise, and we're going to be releasing them for the rest of the verticals. We're integrating them for the rest of the verticals as quickly as we can in terms of security, in terms of collaboration, and then others like service provider. Those are all getting revisited to add labs to those particular topic areas.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. And thank you, Jason. Hopefully that answers your question. Again, any follow-ups, feel free to drop them here. We'll either answer them on the stream or we'll try to you after that. Another question, this one coming in from Joe Helly. Joe, thanks for the question. Any word on when the regularly occurring under maintenance issues are going to be resolved? I know I've been waiting a good couple months to continue with coursework and others as well. Joe, we are sorry you're experiencing that. Believe us, we know, we hear you. We understand. We are working around the clock, working to resolve these issues. Best I can say, we're growing very, very quickly at INE. And as we continue to grow, we're also learning things. And so we are, call it maybe growing pains a little bit. We're growing quickly and we are continuing to work to try and get everything up to speed. We have our best team members on this. We are working. We promise you, we understand the frustration. We totally get it. So we will continue updating you, continue following us on social for updates. Again, I know it's frustrating, but please know that we are working. We understand the frustration, and we're working to get these under control, get them up, get them out, so you can get your studies and get on the road. So again, thank you for the question, Joe. Question from Andres Price, from someone who already has the EJPT. Will taking V2 version be allowed under fundamentals? Jack, let me send that one over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, pay attention for the beta test that's going to be coming out pretty soon. Sign up for it. We definitely, I definitely want you to be able to take it. As far as the process and things like that, pay attention to the socials. It'll be in there. If you're asking if there's going to be a cost or something, there's going to be no block for you if you've taken it before. I don't see any reason why you can't take it again.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's a great answer, Jack. Thank you very much. All right, this question coming in from Bob, and I'm actually going to give this to all three of you, and we'll put Brooks on the spot first because we know he can talk, right? Again, this coming in from Bob. Why INE training, and what sets INE apart from other training providers? I think this is a great question because there are a lot of answers to this, and yes. I think all three of you can answer it from different perspectives, right, in different verticals. But Brooks, let's start with you. Why INE? Why INE? God. What sets us apart?
First of all, thanks, Bob. I've always been told don't ever tell somebody they had a great question. That's a great question. Okay, why? Why would you do this? Like, why would you come to INE versus like going to one of the cloud providers? Let me just speak about cloud. Well, here's the simple fact of the matter. There's a lot of things they teach that you don't need to learn. There's a lot of things being asked for that they don't touch. We're going to be doing that because what we do is we base our training on what do our clients need. And we get that by looking at things like, again, what do we see out there on the websites from the HR departments trying to find people to fill these positions? What do I hear day to day speaking to different leaders in the space about what they're trying to find? And a lot of it is really counterintuitive because of what's already been told to the public from these cloud providers. So the first thing I would just say about that is just INE has a lot of authenticity, Bob. This is what you need to know. This hasn't been rushed through the marketing department at some particular cloud provider because they make a lot of money on that particular service. No, it's about what really works for you. And then as I can kind of make a transition to throw it over to Jack, the other thing is the fact that you do have people like Brian. You do have people like Jack. You've got our director, Mike Pfeiffer, for goodness sakes, who have got such a wealth of knowledge, and it's all on one platform. On a lot of platforms, it's just cloud. It's just networking. On our platform, you can go in different directions, and all that's going to do is just make you more formidable, more knowledgeable, and just viewed as the expert. Then again, that's what we're trying to do is create experts as you move into the cloud space. So with that, I'll throw it to Jack.
Yeah, I mean, Brooks, you said a lot of it. Personally, the reason why INE for me is you kind of hit it on the tail end there is the expertise, but also it's not just the expertise and the ability to bring people together. It's the realism factor. We are focused on doing things as you would do for best practices, industry standards in the actual workplace, which means vendor agnostic or, multi-vendor inclusive training, depending on which vertical you're talking about. And it doesn't always have to be specifically as it's written in the book from the people that made the equipment. It can be, this is the best practice. This is the best way in our experience, in our methodologies, in what we have, seen or been around. And being able to help write what the standard is, so that way we all understand from day one fundamentals. I mean, some of the stuff that we're building right now for the fundamentals pass work, we are focusing on GRC really early on, and risk management and risk tolerance and, understanding vulnerability management, even for things like penetration testing, because you have to understand, and be able to do a basic assessment of vulnerabilities, which is both beneficial to you as a red team member, but also if you were to sit on a web application team and be able to, investigate what's going on in the enterprise. So it's a multifaceted capability of best industry practices that we get to replicate through realistic labs and training. And it's one of the reasons why I really do like working here.
Awesome. Well said, Jack. What about you, Brian? You've been here a long time. You obviously, you've had your hand in INE for probably longer than maybe all of us combined. But for you, why INE training? What does set INE apart from other training providers?
I'd like to piggyback on what Jack was saying about the instructors and about specifically our methodology, how we deliver hands-on training that's designed to be practical. So not just so that you can study to pass an exam, but you can take these skills and then apply them in the real world. So what's great about our platform is that even if you're not studying for a particular certification, there might be some new technology, whether it's in networking or whether it's in cloud or cybersecurity that you want to learn. And our platform gives you the ability to go between those cross verticals and to get that information. So let's say, for example, that you're a network security engineer that deals with firewalls and VPNs and stuff like that. Maybe you want to learn, well, how do I do penetration testing so I can verify that my network actually is secure? And then if I take that same type of design and I port it to the cloud, how can I make sure that the cloud is secure and that the cloud networking is properly implemented? So as we go further, throughout the year, there's a big project that we're working on that's going to be cross verticals between networking and cloud and cyber that I can't give too many details about now, but in the future, this is going to be one of the other big advantages of being able to get that knowledge that is going to be really applicable to the real world. Because if you're a network or a systems engineer today, you're going to be in charge of your on-prem equipment, but you're likely going to be in charge of your cloud deployment too. And maybe you don't have someone that's specialized just in cloud in order to do that. So you have to be kind of a jack of all trades in order to learn those new technologies. And then last but not least, the big thing is the hands-on labs. That the way that I encourage our instructors to present the material and the way that I like to present the material is not spending tons of time on PowerPoint slides, but instead to be live on the command line or the GUI of whatever system that we're working on and showing hands-on examples. And then once those videos are done, you have the same opportunity yourself through our web-based platform in order to configure the CLI of a router or a switch, or maybe the GUI of a VPN device. So there's a lot of flexibility and power that we have in this new lab system. And as everyone sees, more of the labs start to get filled out through the playlist, you'll really see what the advantage of this system is versus I believe what anybody has to offer on the market today, and especially what better than what we had offered in the past up to this point.
Awesome, and
Catherine?
I think you're right on point, Brian, with the hands-on labs. And I did want to circle back to that just for a second because a minute ago we were addressing some of the questions about labs being under maintenance, and I did want to point out that the labs that we're talking about, these PTA labs, and the reason why we're restructuring our entire offering to include all of these labs, and the reason that we acquired Pen Tester Academy to broaden our lab reach is really an effort to solve these growing pains. So that's what you're going to see as we've continued to grow. We see these limitations of what we've been able to offer, and that's the reason that we went out to acquire these other companies and are growing our lab presence. So I just wanted to touch on that. Jack, I think you can elaborate a little bit more about that. But just to let you know, we realize that you're seeing these growing pains, we're experiencing them, but we're actively working to solve it by already expanding our lab reach and putting solutions in place.
Absolutely. I mean, we are working to engineer. So in some cases, unfortunately, some of these we do need to reverse engineer because the technology's changed so much or the software's changed so much, which isn't as easy of a process as flicking a switch and transferring something and turning it back on again. Because of a whole bunch of stuff, including licensing involved or whatever else, sometimes it fully takes on reanalyzing the lab, making sure that we're hitting the learning objectives, and then creating a new lab that meets the same qualifications as the old. And making those types of transfers, doing it in a controlled quality way to make sure that we're still hitting the learning objectives, unfortunately does take time. It is something that we're actively working on. The particular lab maintenance issue has been identified. We're working to, we have resolved parts of it and still finishing up the last end of it as well. And it should be accessible, it's accessible now for a lot of them. I see these tickets every day. We jump on them, we evaluate them. The instructors help me out on them. We actively manage and handle these things as well. So, like I said, it is a growing pain. It's an update. It's a thing that we're making sure that we do right the first time, because we want to make sure that the quality is there and you guys are still learning the lessons that are necessary as a student.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Jack, thank you for that. And I did want to let you know, Brian, that there are requests for you to write another book. So people saying it's about time for you to put another one out there. So just
I'll
let
add
you know
that to the to-do list.
in all of your spare time, right? All right, before we wrap things up here, just want to go around the horn very quickly. Any other last things that you guys want to share with our audience before we close it out today? Brian, I'll start with you.
Just to reiterate, I am teaching a Cisco Meraki bootcamp this week. Bootcamps are included with premium subscriptions, so if you already have a subscription, you don't need to pay extra for the bootcamp. So if you just want to drop in for an hour or two, or attend the whole thing, or wait for the recordings to be posted to our platform, you'll have access to those. So I hope to see many of you there tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Brooks, any last points you want to bring up?
Just, hey, to all you cyber folks out there, hey, we got some really great cloud content on the platform. We're working on even more. We've got our lab environment. So come check it out. Expand your knowledge. Cloud's here to stay whether you like it or not. So come get educated.
I love it. Brooks, thank you. Jack.
Yeah, I realized all of a sudden that I had talked so much about the team that I didn't mention myself and what's coming up for me. So that way the audience is aware. I'm currently working on building out a new CISSP course for the platform that you guys are going to be able to engage with and really study up and get there. We're going to blend it up together along with some management skills and look for not only passing the cert as we talked about, but also being able to apply it to the day-to-day life. So that's the goal. And I'll let you guys know as we progress further and further in with that and I get some recordings done.
Awesome. Jack, thank you. Jack, Brooks, Brian, thank you guys so much for being here today, for taking questions. Look forward to another boardroom session very soon. Appreciate it. That is going to wrap up today's stream. Thank you for watching. Thank you for asking your questions. We really appreciate you being engaged. If you missed this live, look for a replay across our social media channels as well as on the INE website. We'll be live again next Tuesday, May 31st. In the meantime, happy Memorial Day. Be sure to like and subscribe on the social media platform that you're using so you can stay in the loop for details on our next stream and notifications when we do go live. As always, bring your questions. Apologies if we did not get to your question today. We'll try to circle back and answer it online. Really, again, appreciate you being engaged and asking those questions. We'll see you next time. Until then, have a great week.